Yo, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to tell you how to organize a photo shoot with no skills, experience, or money with this handy dandy infographic that I have created. Now, this is something that I have just kind of started doing the past couple months, and I have no skills, experience, definitely have no money. I mean, now I got a little bit because I'm working, but I've done a few of these photo shoots now, and I did not pay for anything for any of them other than like small things. Like I think I bought, a 20 pack of water for, the people that were going to be at one photo shoot or something like that. So like I didn't pay any models. I didn't pay the photographers. I didn't pay for the location. I didn't pay for any of this stuff. Okay. So this is something I've done several times. I know how to do it. I can teach other people how to do it. It's pretty straightforward and it's simple enough that it can be explained in this one little infographic. Okay, so just a really quick little background on why I started doing this and how I started doing it, and then we'll get into the how of what I did to actually do it. So organizing photo shoots is a great way to build a social circle or build your social life in a new city with a bunch of kind of cool people who are very useful for networking, right? If you do it properly, right? If you do a photo shoot, think about who goes to a photo shoot. Models who are generally attractive girls, or girls who are at least like on the more attractive side in the entire, female attractiveness spectrum. Generally, girls who are more attractive have at least thought about modeling or would be open to modeling. Photographers, which are, I don't want to get like too deep into this, but a photographer is useful for many businesses. So if you have photography as a skill, you don't need photography as a skill in order to do this, but if you did have photography as a skill or a camera or something like that, you can approach businesses and you can essentially provide lots of content for their social media and make their business look really good. And if their business looks really good, it's very likely that that they'll make more money. And if they make more money because of you, then they're going to like you. And when business owners like you, that's a good thing because you can leverage their business to do things for yourself. And then the third thing is, if you do the photo shoot with like some sort of luxury gimmick or some sort of cool lifestyle perk, like fancy cars or a yacht or a private jet or a fucking jewelry store or something like that, then, you're also endearing yourself to the people who own that business or run that business. So it's very good for networking, especially when you're in a new city. I just moved to Vegas and this is something that I decided to do. So with minimal instruction, I kind of just put this together. Well, it's not fair, not minimal instruction. I kind of stole this strategy from RSD Luke and Michael Sartain. But essentially, this is how it works, right? They never really taught me the actual like how to do it. They just kind of explained these broad concepts, and it was up to me to kind of figure everything out and put it together on myself. And that is what I did. And now we're going to go over exactly how I did it. So in order to set up a photo shoot, you need a few things, okay? What you need, and I've got it right here, you need a location, you need models, you need photographers, and you need a gimmick, okay? These are all things that you need to kind of get separately, right? There is a little bit of overlap. Like for example, sometimes photographers will know models and vice versa. And sometimes whatever, location you have or the venue or like whatever gimmick it is, sometimes they'll know photographers, right? So there is a little bit of overlap there, but you should kind of assume that you're going to have to put everything together on your own and that nobody else is going to kind of put this together for you, really. So the first thing that you're going to want to get are the models, I would say. The models are generally, well, not necessarily the first thing. Actually, I would say probably the first thing that you want to get is the gimmick, right? Now, the gimmick, I call it a gimmick because it really kind of is a gimmick. Like you just want to have something cool that you can say to everybody else who's involved. You can say, hey, we've got this cool photo shoot with blah, 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 whatever gimmick. The one that I started with that actually turned out to work out very well was luxury car dealerships here in Las Vegas. And I didn't know any of these people beforehand. I literally just cold messaged a bunch of them on Instagram from my account. And some of them wrote me back, some of them didn't. Some of them wanted to charge me, but I found a few who were willing to allow me to do a photo shoot for free in exchange for giving them access to the content. So that works very well. especially here in Vegas, which is it's a very like superficial city, kind of like it's a very superficial city. It's a very superficial activity. Like models, extremely superficial. Photographers, like they just want to like photograph cool things. But anyway, the point is that you need some sort of gimmick, right? It doesn't have to be luxury cars. It could be a really nice house. It could be some cool thing in nature. It could be, another thing that I wanted to do at some point was guns. There's lots of gun ranges here, and guns are inherently kind of like they're kind of sexy. I don't know how to explain it, but guns are kind of sexy. Like when you have hot girls and guns, it's a very sexy thing. I don't know. Am I wrong? Maybe. But anyway, I would say first work on the gimmick, right? The best way to do that is to send out messages. I like to use Instagram because it's much easier to get a response from business owners through Instagram, whereas sending them a cold email or cold calling them, like cold calling is not very efficient. Text, they'll look at their text and then they'll kind of forget about it. But the benefit of messaging them on Instagram, if you have cultivated your Instagram and you have like a nice looking profile, is that they'll see the message and then they'll look at your profile and be like, who the fuck is this guy asking me to do a photo shoot? Like, who is this person? And then if they look at your profile and it looks like, a well-oiled machine, then they'll take you much more seriously. So, my Instagram looks pretty good. I've got some good pictures on there. I've traveled a lot, done a lot of cool stuff. I have a lot of followers. So when I would message these business owners, I would get a very good response. And then from there, it was just a matter of logistics and like working out exactly when and where we were going to do it. So once you've got the gimmick, right, just pick something, okay? And you can find these, like I would first decide what you want and then go on Instagram and just kind of figure out what it is, just kind of like type in a hashtag, like for example, luxury car rental, or well, I guess you could Google luxury car rental Vegas, for example, which is what I did, and then I would go to their website and I would look for the little Instagram icon on their website, and I would open Instagram and I would message them from there. It's not very efficient, but if you have a good Instagram page, you're going to get a pretty good response rate, or at least I did. Okay, and other things you'll kind of find along the way, like this BDSM thing. This I actually found when I was looking for some of the other things, right? So anyway, once you have the gimmick, or once you have like a tentative agreement for the gimmick, because most business owners, they don't really care. Like it doesn't, to take pictures with a Lamborghini, for most people, it sounds like really cool and really expensive. But if you're a luxury car rental and you've got fucking 8 Lamborghinis, it's not a big deal for you to like take 3 hours of your afternoon on a Tuesday or whatever, some day where you're not doing anything, and to have a bunch of people show up with cameras and take pictures with the Lamborghini or Lamborghinis or whatever it is, right? It's not a big deal for you, right? Because you have it in abundance. So anyway, once you get that, what you need to do is you need to find the models, okay? The models are generally going to be the hardest part. Photographers are pretty easy. You will get some flaky photographers, but in general, if you have a cool gimmick and you've got a fair amount of models coming, the photographers are just like happy to show up because, most photographers, from what I learned, they don't really have the opportunity to do cool photo shoots. They just go out and they take pictures on the fucking street or at the mall or like of trees in the wilderness, and it's really actually pretty boring. So when you provide them the opportunity to go and take pictures of hot girls and fancy cars for free, that's something that's really cool to them. It's really cool to most people who are able to participate. So once you have the photographers, which are not really hard to get, I guess you could kind of save this for last. This is kind of almost like an afterthought, to be honest with you. What you're really going to want to focus on is getting the models. Okay. Now, this is the hardest part of putting together a photo shoot for a few reasons. Number one, models are flaky. They are so flaky. Like girls just in general are flaky, right? Like I had a friend who had a business, he's a very successful business guy, and he's like, I won't, if it's a woman business owner, he doesn't want to deal with them because they're just a nightmare to deal with. They don't think the same as men. Not to sound sexist or anything, but it's kind of true. Women business owners at least are business owners and are more capable of thinking logically than models, at least in my experience, because modeling is once you kind of see behind the scenes of what modeling actually is, you kind of lose a lot of respect for models. No offense to any models out there. Like any of the models who have come to my photo shoots, if you happen to watch this, like I love you. Thank you for coming. I hope you come to the next one. But being a model is it's portrayed as being this like glamorous thing to the mainstream, but in reality it's really not. Like the girls sit there and they pose and they do their little hair flips and like all their little, whatever, looks at the camera and stuff like that. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's a joke, but it's not that hard. It's not that hard. It doesn't take a lot of skill. And not only that, but with the amount of editing that goes into these photos and the amount of photos that you actually take, you can make a girl who's not attractive at all. You put makeup on her, you do her hair, you put her in a skimpy outfit, you shoot her at the right angle, and then you Photoshop the F out of that picture. She's going to look hot. So the model is kind of just like, it's almost like a placeholder. Now that said, you still need the girls to show up to the event. So what you need to do, the first photo shoot that you do is going to be the hardest one because you don't have any proof of concept yet. Okay, but once you get that first shoot done and you can show pictures of the previous shoots, it's much easier to get more models to participate. But like I said, models are the hardest part because number one, they're flaky, and a lot of the girls who you invite, they'll say, yeah, I'd love to come, it'd be amazing, sure, definitely, and then they just don't show up, right? So that's one of the problems. This problem will kind of go away as you do more shoots, or at least that's what I noticed in my experience. Like the first shoot, I had like 15 girls confirmed and like 3 or 4 showed up. And I think I had more, like 20, and like 3 showed up. And it was like the 3 most random ones that ended up showing up. But the way that you get the models is there's a couple ways. All right, I'll just tell you how I got them. So the first thing that I did is I went on Facebook and I looked in Facebook modeling and photographer groups. And these are basically groups where it's models and photographers who want to collaborate normally for what's called for TFP, which is, I think it's called time for pay or time for print or something like that. Basically what it means is everybody agrees to do the shoot for free and you share the rights to the content, right? So like I'm a photographer, I bring a model to the shoot and like I take pictures of her and I don't pay her, she doesn't pay me, but I give her the pictures and she can use them for her book or whatever she wants to use them for. So all these photo shoots that I did were T for P, right? And the way that I got these models was by posting in these TFP groups and saying, hey, I've got this really cool shoot coming up. We're going to have fancy cars. We're going to have guns. We're going to have this, that, whatever. Looking for models, right? And you get a lot of responses, but the problem is that generally like the hottest girls are not on Facebook, right? Like think about it like this. Let's say you're a super hot girl and you're a model and you're so hot that like you've got modeling experience and you've done it professionally and like let's say you've even been paid for it. You're probably not going to be like on these Facebook groups like looking for opportunities. You probably got opportunities up the ass, you know what I mean? So you're not going to get a lot of super high quality girls through Facebook. You will get some. And like I said earlier, you're going to get, with Photoshop and the right angles and stuff like that, you're going to get good pictures regardless. You're going to get some at least. So that shouldn't be too much of a concern for your first shoot. But just kind of just invite everybody, I would say, for the first one. And over here, I wrote this, right? This is a key sentiment this is a key attitude that you need to portray to these all these people that you're inviting, right? And basically the idea is everybody is confirmed, we just need you, right? For example, when I would approach these luxury car companies, what I would say, I wouldn't say hey, I've never done a photo shoot before, I'm trying to start doing photo shoots in Vegas, can we please use some of your cars? And if you say yes, I'll go find everybody else. No, you don't say that. What I would say is hey, I run a group of photographers and models in Vegas. We do photo shoots all the time. We're looking to do a shoot with cars. Are you interested? If you're interested, I can bring all the models. I can bring all the cars. I can bring everything. You just have to give us a couple hours of your time so we can do it, right? And when you make it easy for them like that, people are much more likely to say yes. Same thing when you bring the models and when you bring the photographers, right? You say to the models, hey, I'm doing this shoot. We've got these luxury cars. We've got 6 photographers coming. All we need is a couple models. Who's interested? Let me know. Same thing with the photographers. Now, the photographers I generally save to last anyway because they're kind of the easiest ones to get because they're less flaky, number one. And number two, photographers like taking pictures of cool shit because they can add it to their book and it helps them get more business. And it's just fun to do the networking. Like generally photographers are kind of like nerdy weirdo people anyway. So when you offer them the opportunity to do a group shoot like this, it's really good networking for them. And most of the ones that I've talked to kind of jump at the opportunity. So that's basically it. It's really not that hard. Find people from Facebook, also Instagram. Like I said, like what did I do? I did like hashtag Las Vegas model, and a lot of girls popped up, and I just DM'd a bunch of them. You know, you DM 100 girls, some of them are going to say yes, some of them are going to show up. And then I have also over here real life. Now, this was much easier for me because I work at the mall and I talk to girls all day as part of my job. So I would any time that I managed to stop a young girl who was attractive and who I thought I had a good connection with, I would say, hey, have you ever thought about modeling? I do photo shoots in the city. I give them the whole spiel. Like, if you're interested, you know, I would kind of like feel them out a little bit, see if they're interested. Because some really hot girls, they're just not interested in modeling. They have no desire to do that. But most attractive girls who have at least entertained the idea of modeling potentially. So, you know, if you have a good connection with them, they'll probably say yes. Now, again, like I said, for me, it's much easier because I work at the mall where there's tons of like girls anyway. And it's my job to stop them and try and sell them things. So I have a lot more opportunities to meet girls who are attractive who might want to do modeling. If you don't have something like that, I mean, is it really like realistic that you're going to go out and like approach all of these like young hot girls to ask them to model? It's possible. This whole theory, this comes from like the world of pickup, where the idea is that like you're going out every night and you're meeting all these people, mainly like lots of girls. And if you're doing it, if you're actually doing that, you live in a place where like there's no lockdown and you're actually doing that, it's a great way to like fill up your funnel with a bunch of people who are potentially interested. But anyway, basically what you do is you kind of like, once you get all the pieces, right? Once you have the gimmick, once you have a, you know, 10, 15 models who have said like, okay, I want to do it. Once you have a couple photographers, generally the rule is like photographers to models, the ratio should be about 3-1, or sorry, three models for every photographer. Once you've got all of those pieces, what I like to do is I like to create a group chat, right? I've been creating mine on Instagram because I want to focus on that platform as a way to kind of build clout, kind of like I want people to it's what's the problem? Instagram is the best way to stay in touch with people over the long term without having to put any effort into it. It's the most efficient way to stay in touch with people. If you post stories, people who are on Instagram on a regular basis, most people these days, they have an Instagram account and they fucking open the app 20 times a day, check their social media, see if anybody messaged them, see if anybody posted any new stories. They just check it all the time and they want to see like what's going on. So if you post stories on there regularly, people will kind of like stay in touch with you, so to speak. You'll keep them warm. So I've been creating my group chats on Instagram. They do have a limit of 32 people per group chat. And so far, I haven't had more than 32 people agree to come to a shoot. So far that hasn't been a problem. I like to create a group chat. I also like to message everybody individually while I'm creating the event because I want to get one-on-one confirmation from them that they're going to come. Basically what I say, like, you know, the business or gimmick, business owner or gimmick, that's easy. The models, basically, I'll message them and I'll say, hey, I've got this shoot coming up. You know, it's going to be on this date. We're going to have this, that, and the other thing. If you're interested, let me know and I'll add you to the group chat on Instagram. Or if you can come, I don't want to say if you're interested, like if you can make it, let me know, I'll add you to the group chat. Okay. And set it for about a week out, right? You don't want to make it too far out because it really does not require that much planning. Like, this is the type of thing. The cool thing about photo shoots is that because all you're doing is organizing it, you can be a photographer you want. You can be a model in there also if you want. It's kind of cool. Take some pictures. But you're inviting everybody who has a specific role to fill. So you don't actually have to do anything other than when the shoot actually happens, you just tell people what to do. Like, okay, like you guys, like, you know, talking to the girls, like, okay, you guys go take pictures with this guy. You guys go over there with that car. And then 20 minutes from now, we'll switch. There's no like wrong way to do it. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, it doesn't really take that long to actually set up. So I would say set it for a week out. And right here, I wrote invest time into cultivating Instagram. So, like, I know social media sucks, it's superficial, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line, like, the reality of the situation is that most people on planet Earth are on Instagram. Instagram is like the new Facebook, okay? In that it's a way for you to quickly show many people who you are as a person without having to actually spend any time with them or spend time speaking to them. You know, if I can give you, let's pretend this is my Instagram account. If I give this to you and within 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you know you know where I've traveled in the past, you know what my hobbies are, you know what I did for my birthday, you know like what food I like to eat, you know like what kind of workouts I do, like you know all these things about me. You feel a lot closer to me as a person. And meanwhile, I didn't have to do anything except give this to you, right? So it's a lot. It's like virtually no work on your part, and the effect is incredibly strong for the other person. So definitely, definitely, definitely invest time into cultivating your own Instagram account, because Instagram is the new digital business card. Okay, so that is basically my little explanation on how to organize a photo shoot with no skills, experience, or money. Was that interesting to you guys? Do you care about this type of thing? I think it's really cool and really fun and really interesting. But do you? Let me know. Leave me a comment. Do you have any questions about this? If you do, I want to know. Hit me up. Go follow me on Instagram. Link in the description. Peace.